Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in the creator economy: the rise, massive success, and sudden disappearance of Paddy Galloway, arguably the most sought after YouTube consultant on the planet. Now, if you've been in the YouTube space for a while, you've probably heard of Paddy. His analytical breakdowns of how channels like MrBeast, Peter McKinnon, and other top creators grew their audiences were absolute game changers. And he arguably pioneered an entire genre of YouTube analysis content. But then something interesting happened. Paddy seemingly vanished from YouTube. His regular uploads stopped and his channel went quiet. And while many creators who stop posting do so because they failed or burned out, Paddy's story is completely different. His sudden disappearance is actually the result of something else. And it's a big problem that few YouTubers ever face. And today, I'm going to be breaking down Paddy's entire journey, from how he grew on YouTube, how he monetized his knowledge, and the surprising twist that led to his reduced presence on the platform. And along the way, I'll share actionable strategies and tactics that you can apply to your own YouTube channel or business. So Paddy Galloway's story begins in Ireland, where he developed an early obsession with YouTube, and not just as a viewer, but as a student of the platform itself. Now, unlike most creators who focus on making videos, Paddy was fascinated by how channels grow and succeed. And even as a teenager, he was meticulously studying the algorithm and analyzing successful channels and taking detailed notes on growth strategies. And in 2017, Paddy made a pivotal decision. After experimenting with various content niches like how much money celebrities make, he created a video titled "How Peter McKinnon Gained 1 Million Subscribers in Under a Year." And this analysis of McKinnon's explosive growth marked the beginning of Paddy's transformation into the YouTube strategy expert that we know today. So, growth lesson number 1 is find a unique angle within your niche. So at the time, there were plenty of YouTubers who covered how to grow on YouTube, but Paddy pioneered a meta niche where he basically did case studies analyzing other successful creators. And while everyone else was telling people how to start a channel or how to film a video, Paddy positioned himself as the expert who understood why those channels were successful. And this approach allowed him to target an underserved audience, creators and business owners who want to grow, leverage the existing audience of popular creators that he analyzed, and position himself as an authority figure rather than just another content creator. So for your channel, ask yourself, what unique angle or perspective can I bring to my niche that isn't being addressed by others? And sometimes the most successful channels aren't doing something completely new. They're just approaching an existing topic from a fresh angle. Now, just as an example, if you look at the fitness niche, there's plenty of case study style content. However, at the time, nobody was doing this in the YouTube growth niche. So Paddy was able to innovate in this niche by simply bringing in a new format. Now, Paddy's content strategy was brilliantly simple yet effective. He created analytical videos breaking down how the biggest YouTube stars achieve their success. And his videos followed a consistent style. Simple white background with minimal graphics. And this was done with the hand drawing style that was very popular in the personal development niche with channels like Fight Mediocrity. Then he had clean professional voiceovers, data-driven analysis using graphs and statistics, and clear actionable insights that viewers could implement. And one of his most recognizable branding elements became the red graph that visualized channel growth, which helped establish him as the guy with the red graph in viewers' minds. And this brings us to growth lesson number 2. Visual consistency creates strong branding. Paddy's consistent visual style made his content instantly recognizable. His thumbnails followed a clear pattern: a consistent color scheme, red, black, and white, exaggerated images of creators, attention-grabbing phrases like "the man who broke YouTube," and usually the power words like "beat" and "broke" were either emphasized or highlighted. And one thing that I see a lot of channels messing up on is the synergy or congruence between the thumbnail, the title, and the intro. For instance, I'll see some channels that use animated thumbnails when the actual video itself isn't animated. So the viewer will click on the video expecting an animated video, and most of them will immediately click off. So for your channel, developing a consistent visual identity helps viewers instantly recognize your content in a crowded feed. And this doesn't mean every thumbnail needs to look identical, but they should share common elements that make them part of a cohesive family. Another way of saying this is pretend like you took yourself out of the thumbnail. Would you be able to still recognize that it's your thumbnails and not somebody else's? And more importantly, would your viewers be able to recognize it? Now, while Paddy's channel did grow steadily over several years, his biggest breakthrough came when he created his viral analysis of MrBeast's strategies. In 2019, one of his videos about MrBeast went viral, and this caught the attention of Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast himself, who began following Paddy on social media. And this connection would later prove pivotal to Paddy's career trajectory. And as Paddy continued producing high-quality analysis, his subscriber count and view numbers surged. And his unique ability to break down complex growth strategies into actionable advice made him a go-to resource for creators of all sizes.
Quick break, this video is sponsored by me. Most of you don't know that I actually have my own coaching program on personal branding and then growing and making money on YouTube. And this is good for complete beginners, maybe even people who just want to get a job by growing their personal brand, all the way up to people who are very advanced on YouTube. And they get to work directly with myself and my team to help them reach their goals. Now, we are opening up 3 to 5 spots, and this is pretty rare. We usually don't have these open. We usually only limit them to select people. But we're opening up 3 to 5 spots, and you can check those out down in the description and the pinned comment below. And in this program, you'll get to work directly with myself and other people who are highly successful on YouTube. Just as an example, Sean was able to go all the way from being stuck, not making very much money on his channel, to making over $500,000 a month. Now, that's an example of one of my more advanced students, but there's lots of examples of people who started off from scratch and they got to 5K a month, 10K a month, etc. So check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below.
So growth lesson number 3 here is leverage bigger creators ethically. So Paddy didn't just analyze random channels. He strategically focused on the biggest, fastest growing creators on the platform. And this allowed him to tap into existing search volume for those creators from their fans, but also from other creators who wanted to learn the lessons of the fastest growing creators themselves. But it also allowed him to potentially get noticed by those creators and their teams, and it positioned him adjacent to success, which kind of creates a halo effect. And importantly, Paddy did this ethically by providing genuine value through his analysis, not just trying to clout chase. AKA he was giving actual insights about these creators' strategies, not just using their name for views. And we've seen this strategy be very effective for many people that we've worked with and many channels out there. Now, to be fair, some of them are kind of clout chasing. For instance, Meet Kevin first grew his channel by basically starting drama with some of the biggest financial experts out there like Dave Ramsey and Grant Cardone, and he subsequently got sued for it. With that being said, he probably would say that it was worth it because he grew a massive audience by doing it. So for your channel, consider how you can ethically, hopefully, associate yourself with bigger creators or brands in your niche. And this might be through thoughtful analysis, response videos, or collaborations. Basically, anything that adds real value rather than just trying to draft off of somebody else's success. All right, now let's talk about the good stuff. This is my favorite part, and that is Paddy's monetization strategy. And this is where his story gets particularly interesting, and it also reveals why his regular YouTube posting eventually slowed down. Now, unlike most creators who focus primarily on ad revenue or sponsorships, Paddy used his YouTube channel as the front end for a high-value consulting business. Now, if you weren't aware, there are lots of consulting companies out there, some of them are really well known, like Bain, McKinsey, etc., that literally make billions of dollars a year. And there's also lots of smaller boutique consulting companies that might specialize in something like Facebook ads or YouTube ads that can make anywhere from tens of millions to hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And these companies are actually sellable. So in my opinion, this is a very smart monetization move on Paddy's part. And his videos served as both content and proof of expertise, positioning him as the go-to authority on YouTube growth strategies. And this approach allowed him to develop multiple revenue streams. One, of course, was YouTube ad revenue. Now, I'm sure if he wanted to, he could make a full-time income just from YouTube ad revenue alone, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. The real money probably comes from his consulting services. Paddy began offering one-on-one consultations with other YouTubers, initially charging hourly, but eventually moving to high-ticket packages. And although at first he started off with probably smaller creators and personal brands, he then pivoted into enterprise consulting. And at first he probably consulted with smaller creators and personal brands, then he moved on to bigger YouTubers like consulting with MrBeast himself, and this is working with major brands and companies looking to build their YouTube presence. And he started working with companies like Red Bull and the Philadelphia Eagles. And in my opinion, I think this is the absolute smartest monetization strategy for him. Now, additionally, he does have a structured 8-week curriculum that helps creators grow their channels, and he prices this as a premium offer. So this is essentially a coaching program. Now, coaching programs are great when it comes to cash flow, but they're really difficult to sell. So my best guess for what Paddy's overall strategy is he's getting cash flow from the coaching programs, and he's going to use that cash flow to grow his boutique consulting business. But again, this is just my opinion from an outsider's perspective. So monetization lesson number 4 is build service offerings around your expertise. Paddy packaged his YouTube growth knowledge into high-value coaching and services. And this transformation from content creator to consultant and eventually agency owner or boutique consulting owner allowed him to dramatically increase his income beyond what ad revenue alone could provide. So for your channel, consider what expertise you're demonstrating that could be packaged into services, courses, or consulting. And the strategy that I think works best for most niches is giving all of the low ticket stuff away completely free. So basically give all the information away for free and then sell the implementation in the form of a high ticket service or coaching program. So essentially people that are money poor but time rich can just consume your content, but people that are time poor but money rich can actually pay you in order to learn the skills faster. And this is just a win-win situation for everyone involved. So even if you're creating entertaining content, there's often knowledge or skills that you possess that others would pay to access more directly. I think a really good example of this is Law by Mike. He creates mass market entertainment content, and then he uses that traffic to generate leads for his law firm. So one of the pivotal moments in Paddy's career came when his analysis caught the attention of Mr. Beast, who eventually brought him on as a consultant. And this wasn't just another client. It was validation from the biggest creator on the platform that Paddy's insights were valuable. And working with Mr. Beast gave Paddy unprecedented behind-the-scenes access to one of the most successful channels in YouTube history. And after his work with Mr. Beast, Paddy's reputation in the industry skyrocketed. He began receiving consulting requests from other top creators like Ryan Trahan, Noah Kagan, and Jesser, as well as many other major brands. So growth lesson number 5, one strategic relationship can change everything. And Paddy's relationship with Mr. Beast served as a powerful catalyst for his business. And once he could list Mr. Beast as a client, other high-profile creators and brands wanted to work with him too. And this demonstrates the exponential value of landing one high-profile client or partnership. In fact, you might consider just doing it for free. So for your business, identifying and cultivating relationships with key players in your industry could be more valuable than trying to reach thousands of smaller prospects. Okay, so now we arrive at the twist in Paddy's story, why his regular YouTube posting slowed down significantly. Now, the reason that I decided to make this video is I recently had a client reach out to me, and his strategy that he wanted to implement really wasn't something that I usually help people do. Just for context, he owned a podcast and he wanted to make really mass market content. And this isn't typically what I recommend for clients to do. However, it is a valid strategy, and so I reached out to Paddy's team and I tried to get him placed on the team, thinking that I was doing them a favor. And when I talked to the creative director on his team, I realized that they had a massive backlist of clients who already wanted to work with them. And this client has one of the biggest podcasts in the business world. So even though this client had one of the biggest and most well-known podcasts in the business space, they just did not have the capacity to work with him. So this is the secret to why Paddy stopped posting. Unlike many creators who stopped posting due to burnout or failure, Paddy stopped posting because he had such a massive amount of success, and his boutique consulting business grew so rapidly that it became far more valuable to spend his time working with clients rather than creating YouTube content. And as of 2025, Paddy Galloway had a wait list of over 5,000 creators wanting to work with him. And he works with elite clients like Mr. Beast, Red Bull, Philadelphia Eagles, and other major brands. And he runs a company called Outlier Strategy LLC. Plus, he's worked on videos generating over 10 billion views. And he's gone on podcasts and says that his estimated income is $50,000 to $100,000 per month from his consulting business, but I'm gonna guess that he's making a lot more money than that, and if he isn't, he should be. Because I have clients with less than 5,000 subscribers that are making significantly more money than that. But either way, this level of demand has created a situation of genuine scarcity. There are simply more potential clients wanting to work with Paddy than he has time available. And when you're charging premium rates for your expertise, it makes more financial sense to service those clients rather than create YouTube content that generates comparatively modest ad revenue.
And don't forget to apply to the coaching in the pinned comment and the description below.
So monetization lesson number 6 is create real scarcity through excellence. What Paddy did here is basically the same strategy that Harvard and all of the Ivy League universities use. He made sure that there was way more demand than there was supply for his services. In the same way that Ivy League universities make sure that there's way more people applying than the people who get accepted. And what Paddy has achieved is the dream scenario for any service provider. Significantly more demand than supply. And this isn't some artificial fake scarcity that a lot of the marketing gurus tell you to do. This is genuine scarcity created through delivering exceptional results. And when you consistently deliver outstanding results, word spreads and demand naturally outpaces your capacity to deliver. And this allows you to raise your prices substantially, be extremely selective about clients, and create wait lists that further increase perceived value. And this is the same reason why we turn down over 83% of people who apply to work with us. Because one, we want to keep our reputation really good. And if we have a client that we don't think we can get results for, or we think that somebody else would be better for them, we will simply send them to somebody else, or we just won't work with them. So for your business, focus on becoming so good at what you do that demand naturally exceeds your capacity. And this of course positions you, just like Harvard, to charge premium rates that work only with ideal clients. So just as an example, our ideal client is working with either business owners who already have a very successful business and they want to grow their personal brand and expand onto YouTube, or particular types of YouTubers that already have an audience and they want to better monetize their channel and create systems systems so that they're working on their business, not in their business. Now, once in a while, for the right type of person, we will take people on that are outside of those two categories, but for the most part, we stick with those types of people. And that is why we've been able to get exceptionally good results for our clients. So today, Paddy runs what could be described as the Harvard of YouTube strategy, an exclusive consultancy that works with the absolute elite of the creator economy and major brands. And I'm very excited to see what he does in the future. And I really do think he's probably going to go the boutique consultancy route, as I personally know owners of boutique consultancies that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Now, if you're serious about being successful on YouTube, I have 3 presents for you. These are 3 different GPTs: the niche GPT, the idea or title GPT, and the monetization GPT that I've created using hundreds of hours of coaching sessions. And it's as close as you're possibly going to get to having your own live YouTube consultant or coach. So check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below. And it's especially useful if you're trying to figure out what niche or positioning you should use within your market, video ideas that would work really well for you, and ways to monetize those views. And as always, remember that success leaves clues, and Paddy Galloway's journey provides a roadmap for anyone looking to leverage their expertise into a thriving business. Thanks for watching, and check out this video right here. It'll be an interview with one of my clients.